When it comes to relationships, what does it mean when people say that men are supposed to lead?
That's a good question. Well, financial wise, teaching wise.
We supposed to provide, protect.
Could be like opening up the door for a woman. It could be paying all the bills, whatever,
Like pay for everything, buy everything, like be dominant in the relationship.
That means basically women are already independent. So therefore, when it comes to men, we just like men to take that off of us. We don't want to have to make decisions on our part. We want our man to make those decisions. We want our man to be reliable for us in order to just take the lead. But if a man cannot take the lead, then you're not dependable as a man.
Wouldn't that make men more accountable?
Yes, I agree.
If women are the ones who determine that men should lead, wouldn't that mean that women are really the ones in charge?
Well, yeah, we're always in charge. We're women.
Well, how can men lead if it's by women's terms?
Because they have to listen to what we say, but still lead.
Like if things are going bad, somebody has to be level-headed. Somebody has to be able to lead us out of the trouble.
Wouldn't that make men more accountable?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's one thing I do pride myself on, is taking accountability for my own actions as a man. And then if you're going to be a leader, you got to be able to take accountability when things are going wrong and when things is going right.
If women are the ones who determine that men should lead, wouldn't that mean women are really the ones in charge?
Now that you put it that way,
Yes.
yes.
How can men lead if it's by women's terms?
That is true. I don't know. I'm stuck.
I feel like women are mainly in charge because women are the ones that actually keep the relationship stable, keep the relationship actually with substance, and basically organized and controlled. And I feel like when a relationship is uncontrolled, that's due to the men.
If everyone wants men to lead, is it any wonder why most leadership positions are held by men?
Look, he got me stuck because, like, all his questions are like,
It's checking me right now.
yeah.
Now, that's no surprise. I mean, for one, you can't have a woman leading because they're in an emotional state. They're making emotional decisions. They will put their emotions first before logic. So that's the number one reason why women can't lead, and a man have to be in that position. Because me, myself, I can put my emotions to the side and still make the sound decision for us both. Whether I like it or not, or whether I feel the way or not, I'm still going to make the best decision for us, logically.
So why do women complain about men being in charge when women wanted it that way?
I think some men just don't know how to lead. I think society has turned certain men to not even knowing how to take those proper steps of leading. So it really comes from the man not having the knowledge to do so in today's society. Because if you look back then, it was a more successful relationship and more successful men at the head of the household back then than it is now.
Why do women complain about men being in charge when women wanted it that way?
Because most women feel like they don't have to ask. It should just already be done. Some women always feel like they have to ask for too much, and it should just become natural.
Maybe we're just always needy.
Or that too.
Are men built to lead, or are men built to be disposable?
We built the lead.
Are men leading when they're drafted or when they sink on the Titanic?
You said we're drafted? Like NFL? NBA?
Men are built to be disposable. That's why we thrive so hard to be the leader, because we know that at any moment, if we are not adding value, or if we're not protecting, or if we are not important in someone else's life, then we can easily be replaced.
Are men leading when they subject themselves to rejection at a woman's discretion?
I don't know if that's more of like just a rejection thing and how you handle it more or less than leading, I guess you could say. But for sure, I guess in your own way, I guess you could say you're leading your own path and going somewhere else. So
don't men have to submit to the rules defined by women?
Yeah, basically.
Well, how can men be the dominant ones in a relationship when they are the pursuers of women?
Because we're smart enough to understand that.
What does that mean?
We're smart enough to understand subconsciously women lead, and just like the game of chess, if you're a king, you know exactly that the queen is the most important piece on the board, and that no matter what, if you learn how to maneuver the queen, then you learn how to win the game.
Why do red pill men complain about all the things men have to do on a first date, but then say chivalry is dead and feminism killed it? What part of the dating process isn't chivalry?
I think those type of guys are not built to lead. Any man complaining about doing something for a woman on the first date is like, unless she got over the top expectations. Taking a woman out, courting a woman, you know what I'm saying? Letting her know that you can provide, protect, and you can lead. That's what a woman wanted to see on the first day. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's like an interview. That first day really like an interview. You know what I'm saying? Y'all interviewing each other, so.
What are your thoughts on the following statement? Dating for women is like shopping, while dating for men is like a job interview that he's paying for.
In terms of like, okay, so like he has to pay for the woman or pay for the date in general, and then he's pretty much being like held to a standard the whole time. Like it feels more like an interview than a natural conversation.
We do pay for the date, and 9 times out of 10, it's probably just a free meal for that woman. But hey, at the end of the day, you're out here trying. That's all that matters.
And I feel like dating is kind of weird nowadays, and the best relationships happen organically and almost by chance. Not saying that they obviously can't happen with one pursuing the other. That's totally normal. It happens a lot. But I feel like the easiest way to have a successful relationship is when it happens when you least expect it and neither people are really trying. Almost like having a friendship before a relationship.
If women have an abundance of choices, would women ever enter an arrangement where they weren't knowingly in control?
I think they would, because they do in certain religions where they have to. And actually, statistically, those relationships that are arranged last longer and they have less chance of divorce than chosen relationships, which is really, really interesting.
Are men leading when they approach women and subject themselves to rejection at a woman's discretion?
No.
So don't men have to submit to the rules defined by women?
If he likes her a lot or if he loves her a lot, I guess, yeah.
Do you think two people can ever love each other equally, or is one going to love the other one more?
Ooh, this is a good question. I've heard that in relationships, one person always is a little bit more interested. So this is what I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that if the man is slightly more interested in the woman than she is in him, the relationship statistically is more likely to last. I don't know that this is 100% true, but that's a tough one. I kind of feel like it is true. I don't want it to be, but I feel like it kind of is.
Is it true that whoever loves the other one less has the power?
Not necessarily.
Well, if women want to submit to a man's leadership, wouldn't that mean the woman needs to love the man more than he loves her?
I think it's about respect more so than love. I think that she has to respect her man in order for that relationship to last.
It's never equal. Sometimes it's 50-50, 70-80. Sometimes somebody has more than the other.
But I feel like it should always be 100-100, but it's never that way.
Why are men so against the idea of women approaching and making the first move when dating coaches want to sculpt men into becoming the guy that women chase?
Well, at this point, in this era, 2024, these women nowadays, it always gonna make it a hill. No matter what it is, it's gonna make it a hill to make it all right. You got to go climbing up a hill.
So then aren't men submitting to the terms defined by women?
Yeah.
So why do people think that men are the ones being the dominant ones in a relationship when they're expected to submit to women's terms?
Yeah, it's funny. I told you, they fake you out. They make you think that you really in charge, but you really ain't in charge. You're only in charge when you're paying and when you're having sex with them and feeding them. That's it. That's the only time you're in charge.
Would you say the majority of women are followers or leaders by nature?
Leaders by nature.
By nature.
I think women like to follow. I think women like to be put in their feminine energy. I think they don't like to have to make difficult decisions. They like to, I do think they like to follow.
If women are followers by nature, why are so many of them unwilling to submit to a man's leadership?
I think it takes the right man to make her feel comfortable. I don't think that it's that women aren't necessarily open to that idea. I think it all has to be the right man, has to be the right person that makes her feel comfortable enough to be able to do something like that.
If women are leaders by nature, why don't they like taking accountability?
No comment.
Why would women who used to be protected and provided for choose to work and pay taxes instead?
I have no idea. I'm not one of those women. I would love to sit pretty and have a man work while I cater to his needs emotionally. I'm not sure. People like to be independent. I understand that. But as far as where this dynamic came from, I think it all came back to when women were eventually allowed the right to work. Can't say I'm in full support because, I kind of miss the days where we didn't have to, but,
Well, why would women prefer to be equal rather than be placed on a pedestal?
That's a good question. I think when you're speaking in terms of human rights, we all want equal human rights. I think that's natural. But most women, I would argue most women absolutely do want to be put on the pedestal by the man that they love, yeah.
Wouldn't equality be a step down for most women?
Yeah.
So then why do you think women would rather be equal than be placed on a pedestal?
Well, you know what? They act like they're equal, but they really want to be placed on a pedestal. So it's all an act with women these days, man.
If men were such great leaders and providers, then why did women leave to become independent?
Well, because the household these days, they say the women is in charge. So now the women run out to the world thinking that, yeah, the women is in charge.
It goes back to the time where women didn't even have rights. I think a lot of women just want to feel involved, want to feel like they doing something. You know what I'm saying? You got some women that want to be pampered, staying at home, but other women just, you know what I'm saying, they feel like they want to feel useful. You know what I'm saying? Women didn't have these type of rights and this type of leisure all through the history of, you know what I'm saying, time in America. So I just feel like it's that type of thing.
If men were such great leaders and providers, why did women leave to become independent?
But then again, are they really independent?
Or are they self-sufficient?
Self-sufficient. But if they need a tire changed, or if they need some drywall in their house, that independence goes right out the window. Or if there's a fire.
I ask that question every day. Please bring the old rights back. I would rather be in the house and taking care of the
Me
kids.
That comes with, it gets deep. I get deep. That comes with the government. That comes with, you know what I'm saying, separating the woman from the man. You feel me? Like, yeah, it get deep. I might say, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. But that question, I'm like, I can tear that up.
If a man needs to make a woman feel safe in order to be in her feminine, how is a man supposed to be a dominant masculine leader when he's constantly threatened by the fear of divorce?
Wow, what an answer! Because I just went through. Just went through a divorce, so that's pretty tough. Good question. It's tough. It's tough. That's a tough one.
Well, how can you have true masculinity without authority?
Shit. Only time you got masculinity is in the bedroom. That's it. And at the bank, when you're at the grocery store, when you're paying for the food.
Well, you shouldn't be feeling about that. If you handling what you need to handle, there is no fear. For one, if you a man and you a alpha and you a leader, you ain't fearing nothing but God.
Sometimes women that are independent, we're tired of being masculine. So therefore, when you allow us to be soft and feminine, we're not going to bitch about anything. We're going to be happy. So you won't be divorced.
How can you have true masculinity without authority?
Who don't have authority? Now, if you don't have authority, that's your choice of giving up your own authority, man. So, man, everyone have choices. So you can't complain if you willingly give up your authority and then complain about what you just did.
Wasn't authority taken away from men through the family court system?
No. Because at the end of the day, the court system got nothing to do with you handling your business, which the woman gonna seize and automatically is gonna be like a woman won't take you to court if you handling your business. That's just period. You feel me? It's just period.
Why is there more religious pressure on men to be leaders than there's religious pressure on women to be virgins?
No comment.
Why is there more religious pressure on men to be leaders than there's religious pressure on women to be virgins?
That's a good one right there. To be honest with you, man today don't want no virgin. And it's always should be pressure on man because, I mean, we created an image of God, man. Man came here first, so it's our duty.
What is the drizzle soft guy era?
The soft guy era, it's like a spinoff of like the soft girl era that women started a couple years ago, I guess. Men want to be valued and appreciated just like women want to be valued and appreciated, and nowadays you're seeing it a lot more outwardly spoken. It used to be back then men would, just contain that to themselves and possibly just speak about it when it's with the bros, but now because of social media and so many platforms, it allows you to speak. And, certain men have put that out there that they would love to be catered to, just like women are catered to.
Soft guy era is a TikTok trend of men finally realizing their worth and demanding that women equally contribute to the relationship, often financially. Who are the bigger simps? The soft guys who make equal demands of women, or the alphas who want to protect, provide, and serve women?
The alpha males, because they automatically want to do what they're supposed to do as males for women.
I second that because they're already ready to give you everything. Like they're ready to provide and take care of you. So they're already basically simping.
So why do you think men aren't advocating for 50-50 relationships or soft guy era?
Because I think that men naturally want to be alphas, but then again, the ones that are in their soft guy eras, I kind of think they're just following the trend and they're pretending like they don't want to provide when they really do.
It's 2024. Everybody's following a trend.
Some men aren't looking for 50-50. Some men will be able to provide and they're confident in their ability to provide. They just want a woman to be able to emotionally cater to his needs and serve him in a different way.
I understand you want to protect and provide and all that. And that makes sense because that's what men's supposed to do. I mean,
who says that's what men's supposed to do?
Society, I guess. I guess society took a toll on the community. So I mean,
do men have a job? Who's their employer?
I don't know.
Are women doing what they're supposed to do?
I'd assume so. I'm not saying like that applies to every woman because every woman doesn't deserve that.
Well, why does that apply to every man?
That's a good question.
If men admit women live life on easy mode, why are they proposing we place more burdens on men?
That's the way of life. That's the pressure of being a man. That's what I'm saying. See, a lot of y'all be complaining about just being a man. You should have been born a woman if you ain't wanted all this pressure. Because as you a man, there's always gonna be pressure. There's always gonna be things that you need to handle. There's always gonna be accountability. There's always. There's no ducking it if you're a man.
What gives any man the right to dictate that other men should be protecting and providing for women, or that they have to be strong, or they have to? Who says what they have to be?
I don't think it's something that somebody says. I guess it's just something that's in you. If you love a woman enough, if you care for her, that's just something that you want to do.
Well, right, but doesn't that give men a license to condemn other men who don't do what they're supposed to be doing?
It does, you're right.
So why do we live in a country of dictators?
You can say that.
Aren't the guys who demand 50-50 from a woman, don't they have more self-respect? They're demanding more from a woman rather than just show up and I take care of everything and pay all the bills.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So how are the alphas not the bigger simps in that situation?
Well, you might be right now because I'm sitting back thinking about it. If I turn it around, 50-50 is better because I'm making you be responsible for the relationship, not just me. Alphas are the biggest simps.
Because simp isn't necessarily a bad word. I'm like, I love a simp, but I'm more annoyed, I guess, with the alpha men who like want to just provide and protect. Because me as a woman, I want to be equal to a man. So yeah, I'm more into the soft guys.
Well, then why do you think men aren't advocating for 50-50 relationships or soft guy era?
Because they're too macho and alpha and they haven't leaned into their soft guy era.
Well, in other words, why are men advocating for the very thing they're complaining about?
Because, no offense to you, I'm sure you're lovely, but men are idiots. Until they realize they got to lean into that, they're going to be lost. They're so wrong. Like, I just couldn't disagree more. But guys like that, like, they're in their own way. Like, there's nothing we can say as women until they just, like, they're kind of just all talking to each other in a group. Like, they need to get out there, meet some girls that, like, want to be equals with them, or stop just talking with each other because you all have the same opinions and you're going to be stuck in that bubble.
Is it easier for a woman to get a man to commit or for a man to get a woman to submit?
Easy for a man to get a woman to submit.
Why?
Because if you meet the right woman and she has the right mindset and she connects with you, it's easy for her to listen and make the man feel, that he's in charge.
Because if you're a top tier man, you already had a resource and accolades for a woman to automatically want to be around you. So if she want to be around you, she's willingly going to submit and make sure she's always in your favor, especially when you are providing a certain type of lifestyle.
Why should women determine that a man leads before she will submit?
Because a man should be leading himself. So if she can't see that you're leading yourself, how you expect her to believe for you to lead her? It don't make sense.
Again, I think men should be the initiators. So I think men should initiate the interest in a woman, and a woman should decide based on the qualities of that man and how he carries himself if he's someone that she respects enough to be in a relationship with.
Well, she's not going to submit until you lead. So you have to lead first, then she'll submit.
I would like to see submissive traits before I step foot out and begin to lead. You know what I mean?
So should a man determine that sex happens before he will commit?
Yep. Hands down, 100%.
Should a man determine that sex happens before he will commit?
Absolutely.
I'm religious, so I don't think that sex should be necessarily a determining factor. I don't think that should be the sole reason why anyone commits, man or woman.
sex is important. But you don't want to go committing and it ain't right. You go to committing to something and it ain't what you want, ain't what you need. Can't commit to it if it ain't right.
If a woman gives a man sex, why is she any more entitled to a relationship than the man's entitled to her submission?
I don't think that she is.
I mean, opening the legs is a form of submission. So it's up to you to, carry it on. Once she open your legs, so she already submitting and giving herself to you.
If sex is his ticket to commitment and leadership is her ticket to submission, how do we balance courtship before we are willing to each give away a piece of our power?
Communication.
I don't think that sex is necessarily what's going to make a man commit to answer half of that question. I know that wasn't the full answer to your question, but I don't think that sex is going to make a man commit, truthfully. I think maybe you would agree. It takes probably a lot more than that. Actually, I think that women should probably, because sex to me is powerful, it's access into your body, into your temple. If that's what is initially intriguing the man, I think that women should hold off and kind of force that man to get to know her. And by nature, by waiting, it might allow that relationship to flourish. And potentially neither of them thought it was going to be a relationship, but it could be if the woman holds out, if that makes sense. Because in that dynamic, she does have the power. I think she has the power. If she's the one being pursued, then she kind of holds the power there.
Because in time, she will allow you to lead, and she will give up her dominance, but it takes time. And then when a man, of course, if you give up sex, you hope that your connection is better than anyone else's in the world to her.
And finally, why is the man typically the first one expected to give away their power?
Well, because I don't believe a woman can really have a real great orgasm unless it's with a man.
What do you think of this whole soft guy era that's circulating the internet?
I think it's kind of funny. I think it's hilarious. It's kind of payback. I think it's like guys are going, get over yourselves, ladies. This is ridiculous. And when I see it, it looks so ridiculous. And I think women are actually seeing it as well and realizing how dumb they sound when they don't want to take a coffee date, or, if the man doesn't pay for the bills and doesn't do all these things. I think it's really sad to me, honestly, where we're at. And you guys, we just need to grow up. It's like little kids fighting on the playground, tit for tat. Just get over yourselves. Have some humility. Be a good person. Pay for the date every once in a while, girls. You work. What the hell is going on? Who cares? If you don't care about money, then pay for the goddamn date. I just think it's like two kids fighting on a playground. But whatever, it's entertainment, and that's what social media is.